some of the stuff did come back, but still to today, it's some stuff that I have to really dig deep. Or if I see somebody I know, I might not remember their name until 2, 3 days later. So that was my experience, part of grieving. Um, Another part is, you don't want to eat. Your appetite is completely gone. I mean, completely gone. And the crazy part is, while you're going through this, your stomach don't even growl. It literally, I don't remember my stomach growling or me being hungry. What I did realize was how weak I was. Um, I didn't have no energy, but who needed energy at that time? Because all I wanted to do was sit and cry. So the and my appearance changed. I always had like dark little lines under my eyes, but it was worse. It was like it was dark, dark. I had raccoon eyes, is what I call it. But yeah, so that was also a part of grieving. Another part of grieving is if you're in a relationship, you don't feel sexy. You don't feel like engaging in sex or stuff like that. But some study shows today that, you know, it would have helped. I know that's hard to fathom, and I could sit here and laugh about it today, but when I was in the moment, oh no, it was not even a question. And if I did do it, it was just to make me go to sleep or um, something of that nature. But yeah, so I'm trying to think of everything that I went through during grieving. For me, my job, I left my job. Um, I was a project manager at the time in security. Um, I had an incident at work when I went back. For me, for my first son, they gave me, I think, like 6 weeks off. Like, my managers and the people who really knew me well. They were contacting me, and I couldn't go back. I tried to go back, and when I went back, I knew the responsibilities that I had to produce for that job. I couldn't at the time, so I ended up leaving the job. And also, a thing for me was the people, um, the compassion. It kind of would strike nerves in me because they would see me and they would feel so sorry or look at me completely different because they knew what I was going through. And I understand what that was, but it can also um, trigger, it triggered me. It just reminded me of what I had experienced by just the look on some of their faces. So for me, changing, leaving my job at the time was the best decision for me. And because I dealt with guns, uh, you have to be in a mental state. Um, I'm giving guns out to people. And if I'm not mentally okay, how can I pinpoint whether they are okay for the day and whether they are okay to get this gun that I'm about to issue them? So I had to weigh a lot of those scenarios and with my decision with leaving. But I had a great staff. I had a great company. Um, I had over, I want to say, 50 officers under my belt at the time. It was great, but at the time it wasn't for me. So I had always had my cosmetology license. So I thought, okay, let me take that and finally make some money off that 20,000 that I paid for the license when I was younger. So that's what I did. I took that and I went out Montgomery County and I started in the salon where people didn't know me. They did learn my story later, but by that time, I was more in the healing stages, and I didn't have to. They didn't know me before, so they didn't look at me too much different. So that was that, and throughout this time that you are, you're grieving. Um, I didn't know that I was becoming another person. I didn't know that I was taking on another identity. And what I mean by that was that when when you suffer and losing a child, you you start to look at things different. You look at your life different. You look at people different. You look at situations different. Um, you value life more. Um, time waits for nobody was my thing. Um, Once I got to that place where I start, changing the way I moved and changing the way I thought, I knew that, I was definitely taking on another identity because now I'm not a mother. I'm not just a grandmother. Well, I became a grandmother at the same time that I lost my son. My daughter was pregnant with twins. Um, so all in that I'm saying is that you take on a new identity because now you are a mother who lost a child. Um, and for me, I say I got a PhD in it because I lost two. And that's why I'm able to sit here and I'm able to talk and I'm able to break down, what you actually go through when you lose children, from the beginning to the end. Um, and this is something that I couldn't find. Um, I did meet mothers, again, how the experience at the White House with Obama and the mothers that I met there. And I did meet other parents, but it wasn't no YouTube videos that I could go to and watch someone who had lost children and listen to them talk about everything that I'm going through that they was going through. Um, so that's one of my main purposes of doing this particular video on grieving. And as I think about more stuff, I will bring it back up again because this is a lifetime experience. Um, let's talk about the tears and the emotional part. Oh my gosh, that is hard. That is, I cried for years. The first 9 months probably was all day, at least 20 hours out of the 24-hour span because I wasn't sleeping a lot. And then after the preacher uh, said what he said, that did struck a nerve, but it didn't stop the crying because, again, that was at the beginning. So that those words had to kind of like seep in, but I knew what they did to me. I knew they knocked me off my feet. I knew the impact that it did. It just took time for it to process. So the crying part is, for me, I couldn't watch any videos or see any pictures that I hadn't seen before. Oh my gosh, that would set me back. When someone will post a video or a rest in peace or rest in paradise on my sons, and I would just not be aware and say you on your social media and you just strolling and boom, you see it. Oh man, that would set me back. So for my family, I would call them and be like, can you warn me when you posted something? And still to today, it happens, right? Uh, so someone posted something with Happy Father's Day to my second son because he had twins when he passed. And he also has a daughter that he had before the twins. So they was posting Happy Father's Day to him. And I did not. I wasn't prepared. So I saw it and it just took me back. and it's been years, and that's part of the process. It's always going to be something that's going to trigger you. One day I was at work. This was years ago, over 4 or 5 years ago, and I was at an entry point, and a car pulled up, and it's my job to check to see if you know where you're going. So when I went to the car to kneel down, the boy looked just like my son. It was so bad that I like brushed him on, but I had to run in the booth, get myself together. Luckily, my supervisor was right there when it happened, so she saw uh, my reaction. So she basically like stepped in and took over what I was supposed to have been doing while I ran and got myself together. So you'll have certain scenarios like that. You'll have certain songs you can't listen to. Uh, Certain songs would trigger me, like anything with saying goodbye, or Rihanna had a song that drove me crazy that I couldn't listen to. But over years, what I did was I would try to listen to it. And then when I get to the point where I get emotional, I turn it off. Today, I can listen to one of the songs. Um, so that is a thing. You can't listen to certain things, certain movies. Oh no, I couldn't watch nothing with gun violence, killing of kids with a gun, um, any crime, anything like that. Oh no, that would just trigger me. Um, so I stayed away from things like that. Uh, and then during the time I was dating someone who loved those shows, and I had to like break it to him, like, dude, you can watch them, but when I come in and I'm coming around, you got to turn that off. But at the same token, I looked at it a positive, like, okay, this is something that triggers me, it's something that fears me, so I'm gonna just give myself a little bit of it and try to um, take it little by little. So you can do that. But at the beginning, for me, that was a trigger for some years. It takes time for that. Any senseless killings, kids getting killed over tennis shoes or just getting shot, I don't care what it is, it would trigger me. Um, what else? Pictures. Um, at the beginning, when I buried my first son, you know how you get the obituaries and you get the thank you cards to the people that came to the service, and you get I got the book readers, and selfishly I kept all of them for myself because I was like, I gotta keep stuff for a lifetime. And when I have events, like when I throw events for my sons, that's when I give the thank you things out. That worked better for me. I didn't want to give them out during the time of the funeral because I knew for me I was going to be celebrating them continuously. So it's something that I will always have every event to give people, or to put in the gift bags or whatever I do. But I was selfish at the beginning. I was like, man, all this stuff is mine. I literally ordered, I think, 1,000 obituaries for the event, but then I ordered an extra, probably 200 for me. Um, so that was that. I was very selfish with the ending, with that stuff. Um, the blankets that I got made of my sons, like, I haven't even put them out. Those are for me. Those are for me when I go to bed and I want their spirits around me. So um, I did get a little selfish with little stuff like that, but I think that's normal. And if it's not, what are you going to do? So grieving is a lifetime experience. It's nothing that you get over in 9 months, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. For children, I can only tell you what I know for children. when you are a parent and you bury your